Perfect. Okay. Good morning. We are going to talk about health and fitness and, of course, doTERRA. And while I integrate some stuff into this, I have been doing these like chair exercises. Do you guys remember those? I'm sure they still exist, but like the chair exercises. so,
Yep.
so
Sit and be
oddly
fit.
enough, like back in May, I thought I had micro tears on my Achilles tendon because I couldn't flex. Like I couldn't do a downward dog because it felt like it was ripping off of my heel. So I I'll talk about the regimen I did because that's part of my story today. But later I learned it was like I finally started to go to yoga class again, like in class, and tried to push it a little bit and realized it's actually my hamstring, which was super weird. So the tightness in my hamstring, it was because I could do calf things. Long story short, I started doing these chair exercises where I would sit and I'd like put my feet out and just flex them so that I could start to break it loose. And then I was also doing hamstring stuff. And I realized that like I never sit this much. And so, and I had a standing desk while I was at work. So I still trying to figure this out, but there was lots of other things that I noticed about my body. And so I wanted to just share a couple of those with everyone today, because it was when I was kind of asking like people what's going on, and when I'm checking in with them and they're talking just about a lot more about body aches and pains than they ever had before. So there's a couple, so we're gonna bear with me. But I want to do a couple with everyone today. And for me, it is like, I just got it off of Pinterest, and I'll share it when I share the recording of the class. And it's just this like desk stretches. So the first one I want to do is, I'm going to skip ahead, but it's called the Thriller. And it's just opening up your chest. And so it's just like pulling your hands behind here. And then while you're sitting, just stretching your neck. And I don't know why that's called the Thriller, but it is. It feels amazing. And just kind of loosening that up. So that was one of them. And the next one is like opening up your side body, because that I felt like was another one. And it's just like connects from your sciatic, your psoas will pull up and it pulls your core and your back and your butt, all these things. And you're going to grab your elbows and like just do a full side body stretch. So we'll do that and then we'll dive in. So we'll grab your elbows. Oh yeah. Oh, apparently I needed this. Okay, and then shake it out. And then of course under my desk, just doing that, getting those heels going, getting that hamstring engaged. And to wrap up that story, I ended up calling a friend of mine who's a physical therapist, and she was like, your hamstring's probably getting shorter. So she's like, you really need to focus on stretching out your hamstrings. So every once in a while, so I started setting an alarm. And so that's diving into the content for today. And it's like health and fitness go hand in hand, and routine is a key piece of that. And for most people, we've experienced the impact of bad routine or a loss of routine, and how good it feels to have consistency and a good routine. And so we've lived in this time of like, Steph and I were just talking about, it's like, you can't plan anything. You feel like you can't plan anything, and it's like, it's oozing into every other part of your life, where like, you're like, I'm forgetting to eat when I would normally eat, and I'm forgetting to stand up from my desk. So like trying to find a good routine has been super key for me. And I've always been really motivated in fitness. But funny enough, even though I've consistently worked out every day, I still didn't feel like I was taking care of my body. So I started setting an alarm to get up from my desk, to stretch out my hamstrings, to stretch out my hip flexors, and just trying to make sure that I'm not just sitting. So whereas when I was in the office, I'd want every excuse to get up from my desk, right? But now I'm just like, if I go in the kitchen, then the baby's gonna cry, and then my kids will want me, and so just like, I'll just stay in here. It's super safe in here. So just keep those things in mind. But there's like 4 pieces I want to talk about today, and want energy and vitality. Everyone's like, oh, I need the motivation, or I don't have the energy to do these things. So we're going to dive into some of that piece. Good sleep is huge for health and fitness. Nutrition, and then like muscle support. So pre and post workout or injury support. Yes, ma'am.
I think so. We should do a movie night tonight.
Okay, sounds good. Dad thinks we should do a movie night tonight, guys. Welcome to parenthood. Okay, so you guys, I'm preaching to the choir to those who are present this morning, but I'll say it anyways. But like having an oil routine consistently is really where you see impact, and that's everywhere. That's why it's like oils work so well with a healthy lifestyle, okay? And if you're trying to get out of a bad routine, it's like digging into oils and building them in. You start to build these good routines with your oils. So I want to talk about energy for a second. And so for me, it's not necessarily like energy and motivation that gets me into a workout every day. It is mostly just, I'm just like, this is for me. Like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm going to, for those who've ever done Beachbody workout, I'm going to press play. and even if it's a half-ass workout, like I'm doing something, right? So there's a couple of things that I really like encourage you to think about here is, applying Breathe or Peppermint across the chest, really opening up the airways, no matter if it's right before your workout or even just first thing in the morning. I love to diffuse. Right now I've been diffusing peppermint, lemon, and rosemary for energy and focus. And if you're a morning workout person, then that's good timing for that morning workout. You're opening up those airways, you're getting energized. When I was a morning workout person, I would do like, first thing, I'd walk straight to the diffuser in the kitchen and I'd get it started with peppermint and a citrus oil. Grapefruit, lemon, wild orange, anything like that. But right now in this phase of life, we've been like, put the baby to bed, then work out, and I need everything, all the help I can get. So I'll swipe Breathe across my chest, and then I'll put Motivate on my wrists. And something else I've added to my routine after having this last baby is, and it has nothing to do with pregnancy, but it's just like, I found that like sustained energy was hard. And so I take my lifelong vitality. That's a huge piece of my energy. But if I'm feeling like extra down, it could be even within phases of my cycle, I'll add Mito 2 Max. And I'll take it in the morning, and I totally notice a difference in my energy. Like once I get to that like 3 and 4 o'clock spot, in days that I don't take it versus days that I do take it. So that is something I've definitely played around with. I'm like, oh gosh, another thing, but it really has made a difference for me. So even if you're not in a space of taking the lifelong vitality, adding that Mito 2 Max to your routine, maybe even if it's just on days you are like, I want to work out today, so I'm going to take this so that I have no excuses. Those are some ways. But energy and motivation, like I said, it's not necessarily about like having the energy all the time and having the motivation all the time, but for me, it's just been about positive affirmations and saying like, I'm doing this for myself, determined to do this for myself. Like last night would have been so easy to open up the, sparkling rosé and just watch a movie with the kids. But I was like, no, I want to get this workout in. I'm cranky, I'm tired, and I know it'll make me feel better. So it's like those all go together, right? So those are just some ideas that I wanted to share about like how to build energy boosting things into your routine, and even just not before your workout. But do you guys have anything that's helped you at all? And it doesn't have to be oils, just can be like a mantra or like accountability, anything.
I think having an accountability group has helped me for sure, and just making sure that I'm committed to doing it every day, whether I really want to or not. But I definitely, Hugh and I just do it together in the morning where we put the breathe on our palms and breathe it in, because he's usually stuffy when he wakes up, and then I need to open lungs for a workout.
Nice. Steph, like you did that with your friend, your accountability. Did you like that experience with your friend?
I did. It was good. And part of it is because we're both, she's down in Portland and I'm here. So
yeah,
it's nice just to have that, maintain that connection and have an excuse to have to talk to each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
She and I are very similar in that we both sometimes have trouble getting out of our own way, if that makes sense. And so it's nice to have somebody who understands that, as opposed to another friend who is always super motivated and good on their own. It's like, okay, well then I always feel guilty and stressed about it or whatever. So it's nice to have somebody who kind of understands that other part of it.
Yeah, that's huge. Awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing that. So the other piece of all of this is good sleep. And I was reading, a friend of mine is really into tracking her cycle and like eating for her cycle and watching like when she should be pushing really hard in a workout or not. And one of the things she shared with me, and I was reading yesterday, is that women actually need more sleep because their brains are like going through so much more. And so, getting even an extra 20 minutes of sleep is super critical. So I know that I'm totally guilty of being like, it's fine. Like 6 hours of sleep is good. It's not. So if we can help it, like getting some good sleep, and it'll make for that, you'll get better results from your fitness routine. You'll want to do your fitness routine even more because you have the sustained energy because you've got some rest. And I think that the couple main things I wrote down in the aspect of sleep is just that routine is king, or queen for that matter. But I know that the one thing I am always really good about is filling my diffuser at night, like super consistent with that. There's a couple of things that I'd really like to get better at, and that's like applying my oils at night. And whether it's just along my collarbone or if I've got them on my wrists, I shared a little trick that McKenna she likes to put it on the outside of her hand so that when she's sleeping, she can smell them. But there's so much to be said for adding them to the bottom of your feet. And I know that, I go in these peaks and valleys of like, I'm really good at it and I'm not. But I love applying balance to the bottom of my feet at night, even just giving myself a little foot massage. So when I had this thing on my heel, I was really good about it, because I was trying to massage and help that heel injury that I thought was there. And then I would also do my feet. But I also like to take a Copaiba soft gel. That is something I'm consistently good about. And then Serenity soft gels, we've listened and heard a variety of experiences on those. However, like most of the time, people really find that they truly can sleep better using that. And another favorite is just spraying some lavender or serenity or your favorite like sleepy oil on your pillow. So those are some other things in sleep routines. And I know it's like, I cringe when I hear this because I'm not very good at this either, but it's going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. Every single day has been shown to be so effective. And I'm like, damn. I was like, but you know, I want to stay up and have a movie night with my kids, but that pushes me way beyond. And then I want to sleep in. And so then it just makes Monday so much harder. So I know like deep down, like I'm going to blame COVID like everything else. But like my kids are going to bed at 9:30, 10. They never would have done that. And so that pushes me way beyond my scope. And I know right now my circadian rhythm is totally different. And so just being aware of it though, it's just like of all the things, it's like, okay, I'm going to take ownership of this. 10:30 is my bedtime now, and I am struggling to get up before 6:15. And that's just what it is, right? So I don't know. You guys got any tips for me? Anything that's worked? Yeah, it's all good. We're in this together. Okay, so the next piece I want to just cover is nutrition. And I know I've talked to this audience about this so much, but really it's like food quality has changed. We have more gaps in our nutrition than we ever thought before, we ever knew about. Our parents, their parents. You know, there's a reason there's a wave of people growing their own food again. Like, and even then it's just not as high quality as we had before. So this is where it's just like the lifelong vitality and the food complex, the food nutrient complex is helping fill those gaps. I was doing a lot more research into the lifelong vitality. I had a potential customer who was really pushing me with these questions, and they really made me dig in. And I started, and the number one thing was like, why is there so many, right? I think that's the number one thing I hear. And I started to understand that doTERRA, like most multivitamins we take, they're jam-packed. Like they've got so much in there, you're taking one, maybe two. But what doTERRA has done with these is they're bioavailable. And so they're not packed. They're loose packed so that your body actually absorbs them and really gets those nutrients from them. So that's why there's so many, and that's why they are the way they are, and they're broken up in the way they are, and so that your body actually can absorb those nutrients and get that from them. And I had another person that I was talking to about it, and she was asking me, you know, she's in like the first trimester of her pregnancy, and she's like, okay, well, what about prenatals versus lifelong vitality? And I was like, lifelong vitality hands down has no synthetics, and anything else you're taking likely has some synthetic, for even just folate versus folic acid. Folic acid's a synthetic, and every woman's body needs folate, pregnant or not. And it's so critical to have the right nutrients. And so that's what doTERRA has done, is they've given us what our body needs and the percentages that we need it in, no more. Like, it's been so fascinating to hear people like, well, I'm taking 10,000 micrograms of vitamin D. And I'm like, your body can't process that. Like, why would you do that? So just thinking of those things and really being educated, like no matter what you're taking, if you're taking something, like just making sure it's something your body can actually absorb, or you're falling into that stereotype of like, you're just peeing it out. So good nutrition is key. And it doesn't have to be all about supplements, like picking a really good protein powder, and making sure that you're getting enough vegetables, you're getting enough water. So adding a citrus to your water is awesome because it makes you drink it because it tastes nice. And so the other part to like loop this into fitness piece is, I was never someone who was like, yes, protein shake post-workout. I was always thinking, oh, that's extra calories. Like, I feel like we're the generation that's like, I need to eat 1,200 calories, 1,500 calories. We'll live through that. And then we pushed it away because we realized it was crap. But when I started doing, like really digging in here, a pre-shake workout, like source of protein, source of greens, and then a post-workout, same thing. I started to see better results, and my body, my recovery, even at 35, almost 36, like I didn't hurt as bad, which I didn't think was possible. Like I thought you get older, you hurt more after a workout, and I'm not. So just making sure like you're getting some good sources there. So then that leads me to muscle support. And this is where this is really where the oils kind of really dig in here. Pre-workout, we talked about what to apply to like open up your airways. And then I want to talk a little bit about like heating up the muscles. So if you are stiff, so like I've been saying, like one of the things that I've been really super consistent about since I realized what was actually wrong with my leg, is applying Deep Blue to my hamstrings before a workout. I still get these little like tingles in my heel, still not quite healed yet, but I'm finally able to really extend. And I've been stealing my kids' Rescuer blend. Love this, but what's in it? So if you don't want to buy the kids blend, or you can make your own, is adding copaiba, Deep Blue, and marjoram. Those are really great. And then what there is, they've got lavender and spearmint here, but that's where I just kind of subbed the Deep Blue. Those are like applying to the muscles, getting them warmed up. If you're nursing an injury, or you know that like a certain workout's going to really push your body, I like to take the Deep Blue polyphenols. This is an internal option. Frankincense, turmeric, ginger, and you've got the, where's this word? The green tea. That's like in all pre-workout stuff is that green tea extract. So those are a little bit of like just making sure you're priming your body to keep it safe from injury. But if you do have some injury, like I mentioned, marjoram, copaiba, frankincense, and lemongrass are all really good for healing. And just applying those with tons of consistency is really going to help. Like the number of times I've blown an ankle and used that blend is countless, and it's super quick and healing. So
will you say what the blend was again?
Yeah, copaiba, lemongrass, marjoram, and frankincense.
Thank you.
Yeah. So those are just, ways that I've, from talking to other people, things I've learned about myself that have really helped. And so it's just to recap, like really focusing on like, how are we getting good energy? It's, starts with sleep. Maybe I should have started with sleep and then led into energy. Good nutrition, and then really supporting our muscles, like whether it's getting that good pre and post workout routine going, adding our oils in, and just really taking care of our bodies if we are feeling sore or hurt, things like that. But do you guys have any additional thoughts or questions today?
I was wondering about collagen supplements. What are kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have never done collagen before. And I have a couple of people that like I know who do that. And they were doing it for mostly like Oh, they were doing it for like hair and nails. But I don't know how that fits into workouts. What are you thinking? What have you learned?
Well, I mean, I just see it everywhere, and I have friends that are doing it, and they're like, well, my hair is growing like crazy and my nails are growing like crazy. And I'm like, okay, but does it do anything else for you?
There's a gal that I follow. She is really super successful doTERRA advocate, and it was starting to affect her gut. The collagen, that was just her experience. And so she stopped taking it. And I know she was taking it for hair and nail stuff. But like, I use rosemary in my conditioner every 3 days, and
Yeah,
my hair's great. And then the Lifelong Vitality. So I've never felt the need to like take that dive.
yeah, it doesn't feel necessary. I didn't know if there was any reason it really would be.
Yeah, not that I know of, but I haven't looked that much into it at all. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to share one more exercise before we stop recording, and that is just, yeah, cool, the twist. So, and it's just like, you know, similar to when you're in yoga and you're sitting down and you're doing, I think it's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but just putting one leg over the other and then getting your twist, and it's going to do that like that sciatic, that, you know, butt muscle and your back, and then doing the other side. So funny how much you need these. And just setting that timer, don't forget to like get up from your desk. Like I said, I'll share this when I share the recording, and hopefully you got some tidbits today and feel supported in one way or another. So I really appreciate you guys coming this morning and taking time to chat and share with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.